This Zotac Trinity RTX 3080 arrived because it didn't boot. When I first tried to boot through the GPU's own output, there was no display. So I installed the card as a secondary GPU and switched to the internal display to observe behavior in Windows. There, the driver sometimes loaded and other times it threw error code 43. In GPU Z, key fields like memory type and bus width were missing. That pointed me towards VRAM communication rather than simple power issues. I wanted to confirm, so I followed the plan that worked for me many times with GDDR6X cards. Because this card uses GDDR6X, I started with mods. On GDDR6X, mods usually saved me time. It stressed the memory channel systematically and reported the failing location. I kept the 3080 as a secondary GPU, stayed on the internal display, and booted into Linux. Then I ran my helper script by typing the command displayed on screen. That script called the command stored in it, also shown on screen. The test finished and flagged E0 as the culprit. That was my signal to power down and open the card. Once I exposed the PCB, I realized this card had been copper modded. There was paste everywhere, around components and especially near the memory. The board looked messy, and even if the mod had helped thermals at some point, this much paste could cause contact problems. I decided to clean slowly and treat this as a contamination-driven failure until proven otherwise. I cleaned with 99.9% isopropyl alcohol and patience. I kept the area around the memory pads absolutely pristine. Then I mapped the memory sequence and located E0 on this board. I also made a mental note about E1. If paste had creeped under one package, it could have reached the neighbor. I didn't want to create two problems by rushing one fix. Before touching hot air, I checked for any trapped debris, fibers, old flux, or paste smears that could carbonize with heat. Only when it was clean I did move to removal. I preheated the PCB to 120 degrees Celsius, applied flux around the memory to reduce oxidation and help wetting, waited for the preheater to stabilize and then used hot air at 420 degrees Celsius at 60% airflow to lift E0. When the chip came off, I saw exactly what I suspected. Paste had creeped underneath the memory. That alone could break contact intermittently and absolutely explain the missing GPU Z fields and the mod's E0 error. I tinned the pads with leaded solder, then wicked it clean and flat so the solder thickness was even. At that point, I had a choice: reball the original or replace. I chose to replace the memory IC to eliminate any unknowns. To install the new memory, I applied flux to the board and to the new memory chip, aligned it carefully, waited for the preheater to be solid at 120 degrees Celsius again, and let the package self-center during reflow. I didn't press on it. I let the surface tension do the alignment. Then, I let the board cool naturally. No fan, no rushing. Fast cool down can stress joint and create hairline issues I'd be chasing later. Once the board cooled to room temperature, I returned to the internal display, booted to Linux, and ran the command again. This time it reported no errors, confirming the electrical path was now healthy. After that, I switched the output to the GPU's display to check if it would show an image. And it did. Seeing that image appear was the confirmation I needed before moving to ensure that the mechanical and thermal sides wouldn't introduce new faults. Ever had your game stutter, frames drop, or screen goes black, only to find DisplayPort or the HDMI cable as the culprit? PC in one corner, monitor 3 to 4 meters away, and suddenly copper can't keep up. Length, noise, sync issues, Sound familiar? That's why I'm switching all my display cables to RUI Pro fiber optic display port. Convert the signal to light, run 1 to 100 meters and keep 4K 144 Hz or 8K 60 rock solid. The detachable head is clever. Feed the cable through tight spaces first, then attach and lock the connector. Optic fiber means long runs without noise or drop-offs, so I can set up the bench the way I want, not the way the cable forces me to. RUI Pro sells lengths from 1 meter all the way up to 100 meters, so no matter how big your space is, RUI Pro got you covered. A big thanks to RUI Pro for providing me these cables. Use codes GPU Space Solutions for 5% off across their website. I'll leave the link in the video description below. I returned to the 3080 and did a final flux clean with 99.9% IPA. I removed the copper mod, cleaned the cooler thoroughly and installed fresh beds. 3 mm on the backplate, 2.5 mm on the frame for the VRAM, and 2 mm on the memory. I reassembled the card, double-checked all screws, especially the ones that influence heatsink pressure on memory, and prepared for power-up on the discrete GPU. I loaded into Windows and in GPU-Z, all the previous missing fields like memory type and bus width were now populated. That confirmed the basic communication path had returned to normal. I ran my standard stack, FurMark for thermal stability, Unigine Superposition for different load profile, 3D Mark Nomad and 3D Mark Speedway for modern high-intensity behavior. Temperatures remained where I expected them. There were no artifacts, no black screens, and performance matched spec. The card passed everything. In the end, starting with mods on a GDDR6X card saved me time. The E0 failure pointed me straight to the contamination under the memory. Careful cleaning, a replacement IC, preheat at 120 degrees Celsius, controlled hot air and disciplined reassembly brought this Zotac 3080 back to life. If your GPU spun but didn't speak, that's exactly what I handle here. Use the link on the screen and I'll bring it back to life. If you enjoy the content that I create, tap the like and subscribe for more. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. You can also support the channel by becoming a member or using the thanks button. Your contribution helps. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now. Cheers.